Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this final bout of the Clover Cup 2018 tournament. I am Piggy Fatness, and I am here with
Rich Mahogany. Thank you all very much for joining us. We are at the championship game between the Mad Rollin' Dolls and Sacramento Roller Derby. We are mere seconds away from the whistle. We are going to get right into the action and then bring you our rosters.
Yes, we are. On the line, we have our jammer set to go. It is Black Velvet for Mad Rollin' Dolls. For Sacramento, it is Ariella Twister to get us started in what should be, Rich Mahogany, a very, very competitive game.
Most definitely. Both of these teams come into the championship game undefeated. Ariella Twister testing the inside line, not finding any daylight, going to switch in, meeting with one-hit Wanda. Black Velvet forced to the inside. Ariella Twister out to take lead jam in the first jam.
Black Velvet was trained the inside line as well and got shut down quickly by Sacramento's defense. Still struggling to get through.
Ariella Twister with a nice run up the inside line on the apex around turn 2. Gets through for a grand slam. First points up on the board for Sacramento. Black Velvet now escapes the pack, going to be making her scoring pass. Sacramento, well aware of what's going to go on, calls off the jam.
And so we have the Sacramento Roller Derby Capital Mall Stars 0618 Pink Floyd, 1 Neil and Weep, 10 Annie Rexick, 1006 Naylor Swift, 1013 is Red Tornado, 113 Annie Anklebiter, 12 is Devastator, 1492 Conquistadorable, 1985 Con Artist, 44 The Forecloser, 451 Shock and Auburn, 606 Ariella Twister, 67 Roseville, and 94 Talls, and 970 Narnar Jinx. Back to the track we go.
We've got Dark Horse wearing the Jammer Star for the Mad Rollin' Dolls in blue, going up against Pink Floyd for Sacramento Roller Derby in white. Dark Horse out to take lead jam for the Mad Rollin' Dolls.
Dark Horse throughout the course of this tournament has been a very, very effective jammer for the Mad Rollin' Dolls. Apex jump attempt, but not quite landing it.
Pink Floyd will now escape the pack, begin making her scoring pass. Dark Horse calls off the jam, grand total of 2 points. Score now, Mad Rollin' Dolls 2, Sacramento Roller Derby 9. We have 28 minutes and 15 seconds remaining to play in the first half. So to get down to the roster for Mad Rollin' Dolls, we've got 03 One-Hit Wanda, number 1029 Black Velvet, for 141 Hammer Abby, number 155 Lip Smacker, number 1967 Jocelyn Hell, number 1975 Neon, number 255 Tipsy Velvet, number 4 Mouse, number 51 Lady Hoo-Ha, number 52 Sequin Destroy Her, number 5388 Dark Horse, number 8 Kentucky Fried Carnage, number 80 Thrill Show, number 847 Hello Sailor, and number 9 Shenanigans.
Lady Hoo-Ha jamming for Mad Rollin' Dolls and is stuck behind a strong Sacramento wall on the front side of the pack. Back side of the pack jamming is Nail Her Swift for Sacramento. And same story as Lady Hoo-Ha, who just now breaks out and picks up a lead jammer.
Both teams losing a single blocker to the box, having a diminished pack strength. Pack begins to pick up speed around turn 2. Naylor swiftly trying to dodge on the inside line, meets up with one-hit Wanda and Shenanigans, knocked to the outside, does fall out. Shenanigans barely staying inside, successfully recycles into the back of the pack.
Throughout the entirety of this tournament, I have seen Shenanigans lay that shoulder block, Rich Mahogany, so effectively so many times.
She's absolutely a terror as that in that pivot position. There she is at the back, continuing to control, nail her swiftly. Lady Hoo-Ha threw around her scoring pass, does not quite stay in around the third corner. We'll have to recycle back.
Brace 4-roll now on the backside by Sacramento, slowing down the progress of Lady Hoo-Ha. In to help out are the Mad Rollin' Dolls blockers.
Successful star pass over for Sacramento. Tails dons the star, will force the call off. Total of 8 points for that jam. Mad Rollin' Dolls takes the lead 10-9.
Already some hard hits delivered on this particular game, Rich Mahogany, and I know we're going to continue to see the same as both of these teams have fought hard to get here.
They most certainly have. The tournament, we'll talk a little bit about their road to the tournament, but we are moments away from this next jam. It's a battle of 4 jammers. We've got the Forecloser going up against Mouse, number 44 and 4, respectively. Forecloser pushing at the back, does manage to split up the Madison wall a little bit, does get up into their business. They're doing their best to recycle in front of her. It looks like they're going to lock her down around turn 1.
Sacramento with a strong 3-wall on the backside, slowing down the normally evasive Mouse. but she is at a complete stop.
Pivot for Mad Roland Doll's Thrill Show gets sent to the box on a multiplayer block. Forecloser recycled the back of the pack by Neon. Mouse still working on that initial pass. Off to the box goes number 1492, Conquistadorable for Sacramento.
Sacramento has held this wall almost two-thirds of the way around the track, and Mouse just can't seem to solve it.
Does manage to push the wall out far enough so their pivot needs to switch or to fall back to brace. Blocker number 1, Kneel and Weep, off to the penalty box for Sacramento. That will allow Mouse to get through on her initial pass.
Meanwhile, Mad Roland Dolls had been successfully holding back the forecloser, but once Mouse passed, they were able to come out clear space for their jammer.
4-point jam for Sacramento, 0 Mad Roland Dolls. Another score shift, 10 Mad Roland Dolls, 13 Sacramento. 24 minutes, 36 seconds remaining to play. On
day 1 of this tournament, Sacramento defeated Rocky Mountain 243-186 in their initial bout. Second bout, they defeated Houston 248-200, and that is where they placed into this final championship bout. Sacramento Roller Derby seeing some very, very strong success during the course of this weekend. Black Velvet jamming now for Mad Roland Dolls, facing off against number 606, Ariella Twister for Sacramento.
Black Velvet out at the front of the pack, gets lead jam for the Dairyland Dolls. Ariella Twister knocks down to the outside, but now has a clear run, one blocker to beat. She does get through, completing her initial pass.
Strong pass, though, by Black Velvet. Picks up 4 more points for Mad Roland Dolls, and they extend their lead, or actually keep their lead at 14-13. Next jam getting set as Pink takes the line for Sacramento, facing off against Dark Horse for Mad Roland Dolls.
Sorry.
This jam featuring two jammers of similar styles. Contact on the backside, Pink sending down Dark Horse, but Dark Horse prevails to pick up lead jammer for Mad Roland Dolls.
Pink Freud now with only 2 blockers to beat. She will push them outside the zone of engagement. They're going to have to let her go. Dark Horse fights her way through the pack, does complete that pass. 4 points, calls off the jam. Gives an opportunity to thank one of our sponsors, Ben Hogan Sports Medicine. Sometimes when athletes give their game their all, they give more than intended. With Texas Health Ben Hogan Sports Medicine, there's no need to sweat. The team of sports medicine physicians, physical therapists, and athletic trainers will help you get back in the game. Call 1-877-THR-WELL or visit them on texashealth.org/Ben Hogan.
Back on the track, it is Lady Hoo-Ha with the star for Mad Roland Dolls, facing off against Ariella Twister for Sacramento.
Lady Hoo-Ha forced at the back of the pack. The Sacramento defense doing a great job spreading out and then coming back together, keeping Lady Hoo-Ha contained. Lead jam assessed to Ariella Twister. She still just get reabsorbed by Shenanigans, for Shenanigans now has to let her go. Meantime, Lady Hoo-Ha still dealing with 2 blockers on the second straightaway. Ariella Twister around for a grand slam.
Mad Roland Dolls down 1 blocker during this jam. Ariella Twister looking for a pass, but right into a strong 3-ball by Mad Roland Dolls. Nice little dip of the shoulder on the outside for that pass. Ariella Twister putting up 5.
Dairyland Dolls getting up into the business of that Sacramento wall, trying to break things up as Lady Hoo-Ha comes around. Great job again by Sacramento reforming and just hanging on to Lady Hoo-Ha. Trying to get a little bit of help from 3 blockers. We've got One Hit Wanda, Shenanigans, and Hello Sailor up trying to hit things, trying to break up that wall. And with this, we have another lead change.
Front side of the pack, Sacramento so strong with their 3-wall, making life difficult for Lady Hoo-Ha.
Ariella Twister recycled to the back of the pack by Shenanigans, now having to deal with that braced tripod for Dairyland Dolls. Off to the penalty box goes Hello Sailor for the Dairyland Dolls. It's going to force Ariel Twister to, or allow Ariel Twister to get through. That's a grand slam up for Sacramento.
Sacramento on a 15-0 run so far in this jam.
Ariel Twister, incredibly nimble, just rolling off all of those Madison blockers, is finally forced to the outside by Shenanigans and Tipsy Velvet, but that not before she picks up 5 more points. That is a 20-point jam for Sacramento, bringing our score to Mad Rollin' Dolls 18, Sacramento 33.
We have a moment to say thank you once again to one of our sponsors, and we will say thank you to Pro Design Inc., manufacturing world-class custom knee pads, elbow pads, and wrist guards for your protective needs. Make sure you visit prodesigned.com to order yours today. Next jam is getting set. Once again, Pink Floyd taking the star for Sacramento. And this will be, well, we are on a timeout from what it looks like, Rich Mahogany. I want to make sure we confirm that.
It does appear to be a team timeout. It is indeed. And it's a team timeout called for by the Dairyland Dolls.
So far, Rich Mahogany, these two teams have traded punches, have gone back and forth. We've seen little bits of defensive brilliance from both teams, so still in the early stages of settling themselves into this championship bout.
Oh, and definitely a good, as you said, we've seen a lot of even keel jams thought of back and forth until this past jam.
Right.
So definitely a smart move by Dairyland Dolls to call the timeout here, kind of try to break up that momentum, get their strategy back in order.
Yeah. Given the explosiveness of Sacramento's early play in both of their games that led into this game, they cannot afford to let Sacramento do what they did in their first 2 bouts, which was to get out to very strong early leads.
Whistle blows. We've got Mouse jamming for Mad Rollin' Dolls in blue, Pink Floyd for Sacramento in the white. Pink Floyd pushes her way up to the front of the pack, almost gets by the last 2 blockers. Sequin Destroyer is able to get back up in, but once again pushes through. Pink Floyd out for lead jam Sacramento.
Con Artist with a key block in there to break up that Mad Rollin' Dolls wall that opened up the lane for Pink Floyd. Through the second turn, Mouse finally does complete her initial pass. And the jam is called. Next jam will get set. 37-18 is where we stand as we get set up for jam 8. The forecloser ready to take the line once again, facing off against Black Velvet for Mad Rollin' Dolls.
So we do have some former teammates on the track from the Roller Derby World Cup. Skaters from both Team Philippines and Team IRN on both of these teams. For Philippines, we have Rose Villain and Hello Sailor, Neon and Conquistadorable for Team Iran.
Black Velvet, Rich Mahogany comes in for lead jammer for the Mad Rollin' Dolls.
Forecloser on the line for Sacramento. She is through now on her initial pass. Black Velvet leaps the apex. Is going to call off the jam, however, did not land the jump. That'll be a 0-0 jam.
Impressive airtime on that particular leap. I got to tell you, I had a drink of water before she landed. Just great athletic talent there by Black Velvet.
Yeah, Black Velvet does love those apex leaps, as well she should. She's so good at them, and you generally don't expect leaps of that distance, as well as getting the height, the height and the distance. Yeah. The combination is deadly.
All right, we have Dark Horse jamming for Mad Rollin' Dolls. Jamming for Sacramento, it is Naylor Swift.
We've got Dark Horse out to take lead jam for the Dairyland Dolls. Coming around quick. Naylor Swift still stuck on her initial pass. And there goes Dark Horse through for a grand slam. Naylor Swift now completing that initial pass, breaking through the Dairyland Dolls defense.
Dark Horse circling so quickly and calls it off. She was able to pick up a few points. Looks like 3 is being said. Yep, 3 points on that pass. Slight momentum shift at this point after 2 jams, Rich, for the Mad Rollin' Dolls, as they have closed this gap in keeping this game close in the early going. On the jam line, it is Ariella Twister for Sacramento and Lady Hoo-Ha for Mad Rollin' Dolls. Ariella Twister quickly out of the pack, picks up lead jammer for Sacramento.
Lady Hoo-Ha emerges from the pack, really putting on the heat, trying to catch up to Ariella Twister. Ariel weaves through a broken Dairyland doll pack, picks up 4 points. Lady Hoo-Ha, cooking through the pack herself, will pick up 4 points of her own.
Mad Rollin' Dolls has used the speed game to their advantage, but Sacramento able to put a stop to that by spreading out their defensive blockers.
So that jam will be called. Sacramento wins the jam with 8 points total against Mad Rollin' Dolls 4, bringing our score to Mad Rollin' Dolls 30, Sacramento 45.
Pink Floyd once again jamming for Sacramento. Mouse will be jamming for Mad Rollin' Dolls as we get this next jam underway.
So we are 1/4 of the way through this game. Penalties are looking really good for both of these teams. No more than one for anybody. Penalty trouble has followed both of these teams in some of their games previously this weekend, but a very clean game so far. We're going to see.
Mouse escapes the pack for lead jammer for the Mad Rollin' Dolls, and now is on her first scoring run.
Pink Floyd jamming for Sacramento, works her way up the inside line, will take a shoulder hit by number 8 Kentucky Fried Carnage for Dairyland Dolls, forced it back, recycles.
Pack stuck now at the ending portion of turn 2 as both jammers struggle against the established walls of their opponents.
Pink Floyd just absorbing hit after hit after hit from Dairyland Dolls, now with only Neon to beat. Neon will force her to the inside, recycles her all the way to the back of the pack.
Neon has been a key blocker throughout the course of this tournament. Picks up a penalty, though, and will now head to the box. Sacramento on the front side of the pack with a 3-wall of their own, slowing down the progress of Mouse. That ball anchored by number 94 from Sacramento, Talls.
Mouse just getting incredibly low into the tripod for Sacramento, trying to force her way through, but they are just not giving an inch.
Lifts back her in to try to help out and takes a shot at Pink Floyd and was able to force her out.
Pink Floyd has removed the star, doing a bit of a star stash action here. Mouse looks to the bench, getting to the sign to keep going. She is going to keep pushing, but without some assistance, it's going to be looking really difficult for her. She will get forced outside and calls off the jam after picking up a grand slam.
Past the halfway point of this first period in this championship game here at Clover Cup 2018. Only 10 points separates these two teams. Rich Mahogany, I think we're seeing exactly what we thought would happen.
It is very close to what we were talking about before the beginning of the game, Piggy. The one thing that I know all of us were a little concerned about, as I mentioned a little earlier, was we've seen a lot of penalties happening in both of the games that these teams have been playing, but again, not an issue so far.
Not at all. Forecloser jamming for Sacramento, facing off against Black Velvet from Mad Rollin' Dolls.
Bit of a chaotic scrum happening. Things finally getting through as Black Velvet explodes from the pack, followed closely by the Forecloser.
Both jammers able to follow that inside line and take advantage. So now just a bit of a stumble there by the Forecloser that gives now about a half-track distance to Black Velvet.
Black Velvet will get through, calling it off after picking up, I believe that is 2 fingers in the air. That is 2. Although we do have an official timeout being called for, so we'll see if anything shifts. Gives us an opportunity to thank one of our sponsors here, RollerCon. If you love roller derby, you know that magic happens when derby people get together. New to roller derby, seasoned and scarred veteran, every skill level is welcome, and we've planned tons of events for everyone to enjoy. RollerCon 2018 runs July 24th through 29th.
For those of you joining us online, thank you so much for doing so. We are at the Clover Cup 2018 edition, coming to you live from the NYTEX Sports Center here in North Richland Hills, Texas. Mad Rollin' Dolls in the blue jerseys, Sacramento in the white jerseys. That last jam, Rich Mahogany, a nice little sort of encapsulation of the respect these teams have for each other. They have watched each other's games. They've seen what's happened. You don't got to get all 4 points. Get those 2 points. Call it off. Respect the speed of your opposing jammer. Black Velvet has been so successful, but she also knows the success of the Forecloser. So get what you can and get to the next jam. So very, very good decision on her part there.
Yeah, both teams definitely playing it safe at this point. Lots of intensity happening, but nobody really pushing harder than they know they need to.
Right. I think the comments you were making a moment ago about the penalties, they're aware of what they've done prior to this game. They're being careful. They're playing clean. They're playing well. And this is where we sit with only 8 points distance between these two teams, which is what you want to see out of a championship game of this caliber. Their rankings coming in for this tournament, actually the seedings for Mad Roland Dolls, they were at number 3, Sacramento at number 8. Sacramento ranked number 61 in WFTDA play. Mad Roland Dolls sitting at number 36. So again, very competitive game is what we're watching. And again, these two teams are still being patient and letting this game develop and trying to establish their game plans.
And really, taking a look at some of the jammer scores here, lots of, as we've been saying, a lot of 4 and 8 and 9-point jams. However, the big story so far, the 8-point lead that Sacramento has, we saw that one jam with Ariel Twister picking up 20 points in the jam, 5 scoring passes without the Dairyland Dolls jammer getting through. That is put them with certainly not a comfortable lead,
right.
But that was a bit of a defining jam for where we stand right now.
Right. And again, the story of the tournament on day one, Sacramento, 8 seed coming in and defeating Rocky Mountain, that really set the tone for their path through this tournament. It really gave them confidence, and it showed them their ability to compete at this level, which, again, never doubted. But it's one thing to say it. It's a whole other thing to make it happen on the track, and that's what Sacramento has done so far.
So a little bit of an update on the official timeout we have here. So with this last jam, we saw the forecloser have that big spin out between turns 3 and 4. It seems our officials are all checking the track for any liquid, any lost gear, any chinks in the track. Blood. We are specifically looking for blood, apparently.
I like how you tried to say everything but that, Rich Mahogany.
Well, I didn't want to make any assumptions.
Right,
I didn't see anybody, whip out a scimitar and go slashing.
That might have been where we couldn't see it on the camera angle, but no, no scimitars have been used in the playing of this game. So, but yeah, it's and it gives me a chance to comment, Rich, on just how awesome this event has been over the last 3 days. The volunteers here, officials, everyone involved, the athletes, of course, playing the game. It's been a really great. Look, it's as cliche as it sounds. I always say it's a celebration of the sport that we love. This Clover Cup tournament has been so well run, and so much has gone so well. Just always a joy to be here.
I can't agree more. The Dallas Derby Devils have just been the most fantastic and gracious hosts. I felt very well taken care of this entire tournament. Speaking of people without whom we couldn't make this happen, let's take a moment to thank some of our officials that we have out on the track for this game.
Indeed.
We've got Snippy Snap, Wreck-It Randa, Buxom Bella, Cataclysm, Chirofracture, Megahertz, Doc Skinner, Snippy Snap. Oh, well, we're
again.
Snippy Snap again. So nice we read it twice. We've got Rick and Blocker, Beelzebozo, Mandaranda, Primeval, Dawn of the Red, Ninja Sassum, Cataclysm, MC Ninja, Gym Class Hero, Mav Wreck, Darth Bling, and Artie FM.
That is a who's who of officials, NSOs, referees, and that's what you want for a championship caliber bout, and that's what we have here at the 2018 Clover Cup.
I would also like to shout out to our producer RPG, making sure, keeping us honest, telling and informing us that we're looking for blood.
That will go down as probably the single most important moment that RPG has provided, is to make sure that we understood. Don't just say liquids, guys. It's blood.
Yeah. It's an important differentiator.
So while we have a moment, we will once again say thank you to those of you joining us on WFTDA.tv. If you've been watching this weekend, then you know that we have seen all types of roller derby here this weekend. I think back to the juniors game from yesterday. That was so much fun and so competitive, and Men's Roller Derby Association about Friday night. So again, just an overall fantastic weekend here.
I am sad to see it come to an end, although I am incredibly excited to see a champion crowned.
Yes. Well, I can tell you, Rich, that we don't have to worry too much, because right now we still have a total of 43 minutes and 6 seconds before this one is over. 13 minutes 6 seconds before halftime. And I believe you also have another moment that was significant over this weekend here at the Clover Cup, in that there was the first international bout that ever occurred at this
That
tournament.
is correct. With Calgary attending this tournament, this is now the first international Clover Cup.
Yeah. It gives this tournament international flavor, or as those younger than me say, flavor. So, did I use that right?
I think you nailed it. I'm not certain how hip I am to the lingo of the kids these days.
Well, I know what we're both hip to, and that's it. We're back to the track, thank goodness for those who are listening, with the Forecloser jamming for Sacramento and Dark Horse jamming for Mad Rollin' Dolls.
Forecloser up at the front. She will get through to take lead jam. Going to absorb a hit from number 52, Sequin Destroyer for the Dairyland Dolls.
Another key element of the Mad Rollin' Dolls. They do not give up on a block. Sequin Destroyer doing everything possible to block. Forecloser is forced out, picks up 3 points, looks to be the signal. 3-1 jam in favor of Sacramento. Taking the track next will be Lady Hoo-Ha for Mad Rollin' Dolls and Ariella Twister for Sacramento. Both of these jammers have been very effective throughout this tournament.
Yeah, I believe Ariella Twister has picked up the highest point scoring jam of this tournament. I may be lying about that, though, because honestly, I can't find it in my notes, and that's just kind of coming out of my head, and my head has been known to lie.
But what is true is that Ariella Twister is struggling on the backside of the pack against a Mad Rollin' Dolls wall, and still, of course, as soon as I say that, manages to get out for a lead jam.
Lady Hoo-Ha is out of the pack as well. Will be hot on the heels of Ariella Twister.
Sacramento blockers just flooding the penalty box right now, but jam comes to a close.
As with 2 blockers in already, 1 more will have to self-report once the penalty box empties out in this next jam. So this will be a strong start for the Mad Rollin' Dolls as they send Mouse up to jam. He'll be going up against Pink Freud for Sacramento.
Definitely an opportunity now for Mad Rollin' Dolls to close this gap. We'll see if they can take advantage of this blocking advantage that they have. Pink Freud immediately testing the inside portion of the track. Mouse moves and is forced to the infield.
She will try that inside line again. Almost stays in. She gets through? No pass, no penalty. Wait, no, just lead jam.
Yeah, she does pick up the lead jam call, as you said, Rich. And so now, again, Mad Rollin' Dolls looking to see if they can take advantage of their blocker advantage.
Mouse once again being knocked around, but not out. Gets through, picks up 4 points on that pass.
Both jammers now on the track. More Sacramento blockers back on the track now. But Mouse able to make 2 quick passes for 8 points total. So here we are now at a 3-point game.
Definitely a great jam for the Dairyland Dolls. We're going to see if they can continue to capitalize. 1 blocker in the box for each team. We're going to see Black Velvet coming out to jam against the Forecloser.
This matchup we've seen a couple of times has been very, very competitive. Forecloser, very distinct style in terms of her straight-ahead play. Black Velvet more nimble and using her ability to move right to left very quickly to find openings.
Black Velvet trying to get around the tripod at the front for Sacramento. Will she dance around? She does! Lead jam goes to Black Velvet and the Dairyland Dolls. Forecloser runs up the inside line, going to dodge out by Sequin Destroyer. Another little turnaround around turn 2. She does hold it this time. Jam will be called. 3 points up for Mad Rollin' Dolls.
At the 9-minute, 25-second mark, we are at a tie game, 49-49, as you can see on your screens. And, again, just continuing to see both teams trying to assert their advantage here in this game and not able to do so. So we do have a skater down to the track. We'll let her get attended to by our medics. Rich Mahogany, these 2 teams, I don't think enough can be said about how hard they work to get here. And thankfully our skater is up and heading back to the bench. Your thoughts as you experienced this run that these 2 teams have put together over the weekend?
Well, the Dairyland Dolls have definitely been fighting very hard. They saw a
And real quick, I'm sorry, Rich. We are at an official timeout. So you were saying.
All right, thank you. So it's an official review that has been called for by Sacramento, likely looking for some kind of call related to their blocker injury. We will wait for feedback on that and get it to you as soon as we can. So Dairyland Dolls in a convincing win against Charm on Friday, 246 to 124, and then came a much closer, like one of the most intense games I have ever called yesterday, going up against the Dallas Derby Devils A team. Ended up winning 187 to 171. The penalties kind of telling this again before telling the story of that one, with MRD picking up 33 penalties, Dallas picking up 47. But really, the Mad Roland Dolls defense has been what has held them in all of those games. It's what made them so dominant in the Rocky Sacramento, or I'm sorry, in the Dairyland Dolls Charm City game, and it's what let them hold their own in the Dallas game. And it seems like they're doing a fairly good job of keeping Sacramento in check here.
Right. The overall effect of Mad Roland Dolls' defense really has been the difference, as you said. In fact, I'm noticing that from a size standpoint, they tend to stand taller physically than most of the teams that they've been playing, and so they use that well to their advantage. I think of blockers that we're seeing out on the track today, Tipsy Velvet, for instance, height advantage over a lot of the blockers here, and really, really effective in using all of that to their advantage.
So Blue was looking for a low block penalty against number 1 for Sacramento. That is Kneel and Weep. I believe that was actually the blocker that went off on the injury. So I apologize for I was under the impression initially that it was Sacramento calling for this official review, but it is in fact Dairyland Dolls.
We're nothing and not willing to be corrected, Rich Mahogany. So we'll take a moment to find out the results of the official review, and we will bring that to you as soon as possible. If you are watching us online, we thank you. Make sure that you comment. You can hashtag Clover Cup 2018 and hashtag Clover Cup 2018 and hashtag Talk2WFTDA. And let us know your thoughts. Thank you so much for joining us and for watching. And for rooting on your teams. We see your comments here, and we appreciate them very much. We'll share a few as the game goes on.
Just getting some last-minute clarification on the official review. Evidently, it was slightly complex, so we are getting those details hashed out and communicated to us, hopefully in a way that I can easily explain to you rather than having it break my brain.
We will wait on pins and needles. Dark Horse right now is jamming for the Mad Roland Dolls, facing off against Ariella Twister for Sacramento. And here we are back to the action. 4-2 blocker advantage for Mad Roland Dolls.
We've got Dark Horse out to take a forearm penalty for Dairyland Dolls. Almost out. Does get this will be now a power jam for Ariella Twister. One thing I can tell you about that official review is it resulted in a back block penalty being assessed against number 1, Kneel and Weep, for Sacramento.
Ariella Twister trying to find space on the outside, moves to the middle, and there's the pass. Lead jammer goes to Sacramento as the power jam is in its last few seconds.
Coming into the pack hot is Ariella Twister, going to take a little tumble, bumping into that Dairyland Doll wall. Dark Horse emerging from the penalty box, going to looking to threaten to get through on that initial pass. Ariella Twister dodging around the Dairyland Dolls defense will get through for a grand slam.
Lipsmacker with a valiant attempt at stopping Ariella Twister, but Ariella Twister was able to use that toe stop to get through.
Dark Horse through on her initial, going to start threatening points. Ariella Twister forced to the outside. Recycles to the back of the pack. Dark Horse is going to have an opportunity to get some points here as she pushes away against this 3-wall of Sacramento at the front.
One-hit Wanda anchoring a strong defensive wall by Mad Roland Dolls on the backside of the pack, and the jam comes to a close.
I'm seeing 3 points on either side for that pass, bringing our jam total to Mad Roland Dolls 3, Sacramento 8. Our score is now separating by 5 points. Mad Roland Dolls 52, Sacramento 57, with 7 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the half.
Pink Floyd once again jamming for Sacramento, facing off against Lady Hoo-Ha for the Mad Roland Dolls. Empty penalty box as we get started.
Lady Hoo-Ha testing the inside line, ends up beating right into that braced three wall, trying the outside. Sacramento blocker does get down.
Mad Rolling Dolls with a 4-wall on the backside, but that is broken through by Pink Floyd. We have a power jam now as Lady Hoo-Ha has reported to the penalty box. On a scoring run is Pink Floyd with some nice shoulder check work to get herself through.
Pink Floyd with 2 to beat. She does get by Neon and Hello Sailor, but gets a forearm herself just as Lady Hoo-Ha's penalties time is expiring. So Pink Floyd will have the majority, if not all, of her 30-second penalty to serve.
Track cut penalty now on Sacramento's blocker number 12. That is Devastate Her, who will report to the penalty box. Sacramento blockers in to try to slow down the progress of Lady Hoo-Ha, but she's able to get through, completing her initial pass.
Pink Floyd now back on the track, meets up with Shenanigans, who's going to solo block her all the way to the Maryland Dolls 3-wall, where Pink Floyd will take a tumble, knocking blockers down left and right, but they do manage to reform up in front of her as Lady Hoo-Ha comes around for her scoring pass.
That scoring pass knots us at 57. Lady Hoo-Ha looking for more, but is now stuck behind a very well. But as soon as I say that once again, Lady Hoo-Ha makes the inside line pass for 4.
Great job there by Hello Sailor and Neon, making that inside line just barely open enough for Hoo-Ha to get through. Pink Floyd does now emerge, getting her first points of this jam in a grand slam.
Back and forth we go with this score as we approach 5 minutes left in this first period. Pink stuck behind a 4-wall by Mad Rolling Dolls as that jam comes to a close.
We'll wait for final tally of points here. Looks like 12 points up for Dairyland Dolls, 7 for Sacramento. That brings us to a tie game, Piggy, 64-64. As you said, just under 5 minutes remaining to play in this half. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy is right, and we have got a hot crowd here watching this game. We've got such a, as you can probably hear in the background, a strong Dairyland Dolls contingent. Rich Mahogany, a group that you're very familiar with.
That indeed. So Dairyland Dolls brought not only their A team, but their B team. So you'll like most of what you hear over there is the Dairyland Dolls B team, but they have made a few new fans here this weekend. I can tell you that much.
Yes. Right now, looking to make new fans is the Forecloser jamming for Sacramento.
This pack really digging in here, only just now edging towards the pivot line. Nobody's moving. We've got one blocker down for Sacramento, though she's moments away from rejoining the action.
Mouse continuing to battle for Mad Rolling Dolls, trying to get through, but just stuck behind some strong Sacramento blocking. Forecloser picking up lead jammer.
Mouse still stuck in that place of the back of the pack behind the 3-wall. We're going to lose number 970 for Sacramento to the penalty box, Nar Jinx. Mouse finds the outside line, open runs of it. That will complete her initial pass. Forecloser through for a grand slam. Mouse gonna see if she can score some points as Forecloser teases a little. Maybe I'm not going to call the jam. No, go. Get your points. Get them.
Yeah, the Mad Rolling Dolls started to break up the center portion of that Sacramento wall, and the whistle came. So Dairyland Dolls were ready for that just in case they had the time.
Definitely not a bad idea to have to wait for the very last second to call off that jam, forcing Mouse to use a little bit more energy to try, because there is no point in not trying.
Exactly.
Because you never know. Maybe the call doesn't come quite quick enough, and you get that 1 or 2 points that can make the difference in a game like this.
Yeah, that happens so much more often here in recent years, and so you've got to skate out every single jam. Arilla Twister now jamming for Sacramento, but it is Black Velvet that picks up lead jammer for Mad Rolling Dolls.
Aerial Twister goes to the penalty box on a track cut penalty. This will be a power jam for Dairyland Dolls. Sacramento also down a blocker in the box. Black Velvet through, nearly untouched, picks up a grand slam for Mad Rolling Dolls.
And why not another tie, but right now Black Velvet looking to break that tie on this next pass. Sacramento defenders here to meet her and force her to the infield.
She calls off the jam, picks up another grand slam, 10-point jam for the Dairyland Dolls. We've got another lead change as they take the lead, 74-69. 2 minutes and 15 seconds remain in the first half.
I know that at halftime I'll probably have to get some oxygen given what we're seeing. I know those of you at home are enjoying this game. Right now it is Dark Horse who will take the star for Mad Rollin' Dolls. And this will be a power start.
Ariel Twister standing in the box. She will be joining the action shortly. We see Thrill Show and One Hit Wanda, and now joined by Lip Smacker waiting at the back, ready to receive her and her blocker 970 Narnar Jinx. Dark Horse will get through to take lead jam.
Ariella Twister twisting her way through turn number one. Makes her initial pass.
Jam will be called with Dairyland Dolls picking up 1 point, holding Sacramento down to 0.
I've had occasions, Rich, over the last several years to watch the game of Ariella Twister, and it's that strong burst of speed that she's so known for. You've got to respect that, and that's why the call-off came so quickly. She comes out of nowhere when given the space.
Oh, definitely a wise call. This is I have a feeling that this is going to be a game that comes down to the jams like this, single and double point passes. Getting back down into it, Lady Hoo-Ha wears the star for Dairyland Dolls in blue up against Pink Freud for Sacramento in white. Pink Freud pushing away at the braced four wall for Mad Rollin' Dolls at the front.
Once again, we see both blocking walls bogged down at the opening of turn one. Strong defensive work by both teams. Lady Hoo-Ha against a braced three wall on the back side of the pack, doing everything she can to push forward.
Pink Freud dealing with that blocktopus. 8 legs are swinging at the front for the Mad Rollin' Dolls. They will have to break off Hello Sailor to brace. They knock her out to the inside, though. Recycle her back. How far? Not as far as Neon was hoping to go. Neon takes a moment to play a little bit of offense, but leaves to try to catch Pink Freud. Not going to happen soon enough. Pink Freud is through to take lead jam for Sacramento.
Last few seconds running off of the game clock, but there's still time on the jam clock. Pink Freud looking for a pass on the outside, right back into that Mad Rollin' Dolls wall. Lady Hoo-Ha still stuck behind Sacramento's strong blocking line and able to complete her initial pass.
Sacramento seemed to do a really great job. It's clear, picking apart the walls of Dairyland Dolls. It is clear, as you said, they have been watching them all weekend long.
Yeah, it really has been a story of blocking walls in the last 10 minutes of that first period, and it lands us at 75 for the Mad Rollin' Dolls, 74 for Sacramento. Rich Mahogany, I think we're going to see more of this as it continues.
Oh, I certainly hope so. This is what a razor's edge to end this half on. And as you said, we're just going to see more and more of these fast jukey jammers, strong defenses getting torn apart by these fast jukey jammers.
Yeah. And before we take a break, just for a few minutes for halftime, I do want to point this out, Rich, as you're seeing this with me. Still a very clean game from a penalty standpoint. There's only one blocker that has 3 penalties, which is Narnar Jinx for Sacramento. Everyone else playing very, very clean, and that's going to be such a huge part of the second period to keep an eye on to see if this continues. Very disciplined play by both sides.
Oh, most definitely. Sacramento a little heavier on the penalty side with 17 for the team total. On Mad Rollin' Dolls' side, only 8. But it really only takes losing a single blocker or jammer to make all that difference. So Sacramento doing a good job of spreading their penalties out over all of their skaters.
Indeed. Well, we'll take a few moments of an intermission. Thank you so much for joining us here at the 2018 Clover Cup. We will be back in just a few minutes for period number 2 of this championship game here at 2018 Clover Cup. So. Welcome back, everyone, to the 2018 Clover Cup Championship game. I am Piggy Fatness.
I am Rich Mahogany. We are here in between the contest ongoing between the Mad Rollin' Dolls, Dairyland Dolls A team going up against Sacramento Roller Derby's Capital Mall Stars. Score is, it's a pretty close game, I'd say.
It's kind of close, yes.
I mean, just about as close as it can get without being a tie. Mad Rollin' Dolls in the lead with 75, Sacramento trailing with just 1.74. As we talked a little bit about as we left the second half, both of these teams have played a number of games this weekend where the penalties were getting rather high. Looking at it now, things are looking really clean comparatively for these two teams. Nar Jinx with 3 penalties for Sacramento. Nobody else on that side with more than 2, lots of 0s and 1s. And we've got on Mad Rollin' Dolls' side, nobody more than 2.
As far as jammer performance for the Mad Rollin' Dolls, the highest lead percentage goes to Black Velvet, who has put up 19 points. 24 points has been put up by Lady Hoo-Ha. On the side of Sacramento, Ariella Twister is the lead scorer at 46 points. And the remainder of those points split between Pink Floyd and the Forecloser. So I'm not going to say you put that first period out as a wash, but it's really going to be interesting to see what adjustments these teams have made coming into the second period.
Oh, most definitely. We're going to, like you said, with Ariella Twister, we see that big point spread between her and the rest of her blockers, or the rest of her jammers, rather. She did have that big 20-point jam going on unopposed from Mad Rollin' Dolls as far as scoring is concerned. But so getting down into the action here, we'll see a matchup we've seen a few times tonight already. Black Velvet going up against the Forecloser. So I don't know about you, Piggy Fatness, but I am ready for some action.
I am as well. Black Velvet pushing on the backside of the pack, moving right to left. The Forecloser on the inside line, closest to the infield, trying to push through.
Black Velvet will try to roll off that ball of Sacramento. However, is going to be knocked to the outside, recycled to the back of the pack, thrusts her way into the tripod at the back.
Pack bogs down in turn 1. In Mad Rollin' Dolls now 2-all against the Forecloser, who is able to pick up lead jammer due to a penalty that will send one of the Mad Rollin' blockers to the penalty box. That is Shenanigans reporting.
Black Velvet has yet to complete her initial pass, really getting stuck up behind that braced 3-wall for Sacramento, and now picking up a track cut penalty. That'll be a power jam for the Forecloser.
Sacramento blockers doing a nice job of creating space for their jammer on the inside line. 3-wall now awaits by the Mad Rollin' Dolls.
Forecloser thinking she has an open line, but they're sneaking in at the end is Lip Smacker. Going to send her the inside, recycles to the back. There she is once again, recycling her on the outside.
Con Artist reported in the penalty box for Sacramento. Will shorten their blocking line as this jam comes to a close. 9-point jam for Sacramento to open up the scoring here in the second period, 83-75.
Point differential between these teams now sitting at just 4. See Ariella Twister coming out to jam for Sacramento. She will be jamming against Black Velvet, who is finishing up her penalty in the box. So power start Sacramento.
One Sacramento blocker in the penalty box as we get underway.
And we are underway. Ariella Twister pushing up into the blue defense. She will roll through it. Does pick up a forearm penalty on her way out. That's going to allow Black Velvet to get lead jam for the Dairyland Dolls.
Black Velvet, such a dangerous jammer, so elusive, now has an opportunity to skate unopposed on this jam.
She will get knocked to the outside by number 67 for Sacramento. That is Rose Villain. Forced to recycle the back of the pack. Sacramento now back at a full blocking force as their jammer is still in the box. Black Velvet through for 4 points. 5 points, calls off the jam. So this will freeze Aerial Twister in the penalty box. So a bit of a role reversal here as we get a power start for the Dairyland Dolls. Dark Horse wears the star for their team.
If you are joining us online once again, welcome. The Dairyland Dolls in blue. And in the white jerseys, it is Sacramento here in this championship bout here at the Clover Cup. Dark Horse jamming for Mad Rollin' Dolls.
Mad Rollin' Dolls getting all up in the business of that Sacramento wall, doing their best to break things up. Now stretching out the pack, they will have a penalty assessed against Dark Horse. That's a forearm, so another jammer do-si-do in the penalty box just as Aerial Twister is released. Now with only one to beat in the form of KFC. Got one-hit Wanda now there as well. She will beat both blockers through to take lead jam for Sacramento is Aerial Twister.
Mad Rollin' Dolls with their blockers spread across that front portion of the pack, now settling into, well, trying to settle into, but Aerial Twister's so fast, Rich Mahogany. You just don't have time to defend in some cases.
Yeah, she's one of the jammers that has been just running the Dairyland Dolls defense ragged. Seems so good at just being in two places at once, forcing them to split up and getting that hole through. Oh!
But then there's Shenanigans who steps in with a shoulder check, and elbow contact was made unintentionally based on the momentum of Shenanigans herself getting hit.
It seemed like Aerial Twister took a bit of a hit to the face, but as you said, unintentional, legal. She just takes a minute to get up and is now back in the action. Dark Horse has emerged from the pack in the confusion now, completing her initial pass, getting the star back on for closer Aerial Twister with enough wherewithal to call off that jam.
Sacramento doing something that teams previous to today have not been able to do, and that is to break up the Mad Rollin' Dolls walls. They are so solid and so strong, but Sacramento is now able to get amidst those blockers and break apart that wall just wide enough for their jammers to get through.
As we said before, those walls have been really something that the Dairyland Dolls have been using to great effect all weekend long. So is definitely to Sacramento's benefit that they are looking to break those up. Getting back into the action on the track, Black Velvet wears the star for the Mad Rollin' Dolls, going up for Nail Her Swiftly. Nail Her Swiftly is out to take lead jam for Sacramento.
Nail Her Swift now on a scoring pass, and Mad Rollin' Dolls settling into a four-wall, but now increasing the pack speed, or attempting to, as has been their game throughout the entire tournament. They're great at using speed to keep the jammers from scoring, but again, jam comes to a close before that can go into effect.
1-1 jam score now. Mad Rollin' Dolls 81-94 Sacramento. I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Anabolic Skate. Anabolic Skate Company, trained to reign. We've got the Anabolics Gentry Series wheels, patented Vanguard urethane paired with a lightweight nylon hub, giving you the speed, grip, and edging that you need to reign over the competition.
Jamming for Sacramento, it is Pink Floyd facing off against Lady Hoo-Ha for the Mad Rollin' Dolls.
Lady Hoo-Ha up at the front of the pack with a few of her blockers there to give her some help. However, also at the front of the pack is Pink Floyd. It's going to be a jammer race to see who gets first. Lady Hoo-Ha out of the pack first, but does not get that lead jammer designation due to a no pass, no penalty. Pink Floyd still has the opportunity to get that as Lady Hoo-Ha races around the track trying to get her points before the jam is called.
Pink Floyd breaking that Mad Rollin' Dolls wall and now approaching the back portion of the pack.
Pink Floyd not opting to call off the jam is going to get her points, obviously thinking very confidently of her blockers. She will get through, picks up 4 points. Lady Hoo-Ha now at the front of the pack, getting a little bit of help from one-hit Wanda breaking that up. Now back to join the tripod to receive Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd with another successful pass for 4 points, calls it off as the Sacramento Roller Derby has now crossed the century mark as a result of this last jam.
Very smart play there by Pink Floyd, keeping that jam going. Does end up winning the jam 8-4.
Next jam getting set. Mouse on the line for Mad Rollin' Dolls, the forecloser, ready to jam for Sacramento.
Mouse trying to push her way up through the inside, but this pack is just packed so tightly, not going to be giving an inch. Of course, as I say that, into the middle of the fray is number 67, Rose Villain for Sacramento. On the way out, a forearm is assessed against Jammer for Sacramento, the forecloser. This will be a power jam for Mouse and the Dairyland Dolls. Mouse now forced to the inside, recycles all the way back. Sacramento's defense doing a great job of holding her down.
Mad Rollin' Dolls blockers waiting to defend on the backside of the pack. Right now, the Sacramento Roller Derby blockers have a 2-all on the front side that is made up of Kneel and Weep alongside Conquistadorable. That 2-all falls apart due to a penalty. Mouse makes the pass for lead jammer.
That is a forearm penalty being assessed against number 1 for Sacramento. That is Kneel and Weep. She will get through. We now have Rose Villain on the track. Mouse through for a grand slam. I'm sorry, that is a star pass over to Rose Villain. Rose Villain now dons the Jammer Star, activates her Jammer powers. See if she can force the call off here. Mouse swinging around on the outside, forced out by the forecloser. Jammer turned blocker. We're going to have some referees conferring to see what our points are here. 0 points confirmed scored by Sacramento so far. It is going to be 7 total for Mad Rollin' Dolls.
10-point differential between these two teams as we are now under 21 minutes left in the second period of this championship bout. Sacramento Roller Derby has maintained their lead that they claimed that after the first jam of the second period, and we'll see if they can hold on.
We've got Black Velvet wearing the stars for the Dairyland Dolls in blue, going up against Aerial Twister for Sacramento in white. Black Velvet is through, takes lead, jam, Dairyland Dolls.
Aerial Twister still battling, trying to weave through the pack, surrounded by blue jerseys.
She does take to the ground and is now reabsorbed by the Dairyland Dolls pack. Number 94 in there helping her out, Talls.
Black Velvet was also recycled and trying to reclaim that space, now pushing forward on a 2-all by Sacramento.
Tipsy Velvet at the back of the pack doing her best to control Aerial Twister by herself. She will be able to do it for a while. Aerial does get through on her initial pass as Black Velvet gets through on a grand slam.
Aerial Twister pushing through for 1 point on that pass. No points on that last pass by Mad Rollin' Dolls. It goes to what you said a moment ago, Rich Mahogany. You just got to keep skating, and right there we saw that 1 point taken by Sacramento, and I expect to see more of that as the game goes on.
Yes, indeed. Going into this next jam, we will see both teams at full force. Dark Horse up to jam for Dairyland Dolls, going up against Naylor Swift.
Naylor Swift looking for a path on the inside, but a nice force out there by Neon of Mad Rollin' Dolls.
Dark Horse now at the back of the pack, dealing with a tripod for Sacramento. Naylor Swift up at the front now with one blocker to beat. Does get by Sequin Destroy Her. That'll be lead jam going to Sacramento.
Multiplayer block is assessed to Mad Rollin' Dolls blocker Sequin Destroy Her.
Dark Horse will get through the pack on her initial. Only 3 blockers present in the pack, but Sacramento just again doing a fantastic job of just getting right up into the middle of that wall, preventing from Dairyland Dolls from forming up that defense that has treated them so well all weekend long.
108-97 as our next jam gets set to go. We will see Lady Hoo-Ha for Mad Rollin' Dolls, and she will do battle against Pink Freud for Sacramento.
So we do have an official timeout being called for. That'll give us an opportunity to thank another one of the amazing Clover Cup 2018 sponsors, Adam Skates. You can check out the Savant wheels by Adam as they are lighter, stronger, and have one of the smoothest rolls money can buy. 10% off any Savant purchase as a Clover Cup special. So if you're here which you're probably not, you can go and check out the booth for all your Atom needs. But if you are, hey, way to be listening to the stream while you're watching it.
Yeah.
Piggy and I appreciate your patronage.
Indeed. Back to the track we go. Lady Hoo-Ha testing the inside, moves to the middle, but bogged down behind a strong Sacramento defense. Pink Floyd tackling now on the backside against the Mad Roland Dolls 3-wall, braced.
That's right. Thrill Show, Lip Smacker, and One Hit Wanda doing their best to control Pink Floyd. She does break through, but is forced to recycle back behind them around turn 1. Lady Hoo-Ha now with only 2 blockers to beat at the front of the pack. I'm sorry, that's a 3rd blocker. Wow, no wonder they're so hard to get through. They're hiding blockers up there. Lady Hoo-Ha does get through, though. Lead jam goes to Mad Roland Dolls.
Pink Floyd being drawn back to the opening of turn number 1 as the Mad Roland Dolls now defending as we have been used to seeing them throughout this entire tournament.
That's right, that wall now getting to be back together. Only now initially 3 blockers, but now Thrill Show breaking back to block, joining that wall. Lady Hoo-Ha with 3 to beat. That Sacramento wall holding firmly.
So strong. Talls anchoring that Sacramento wall so effectively.
That's right, Hoo-Ha just continuing trying that seam, only rolling off momentarily, but now a star pass. Thrill Show tries to catch the new jammer Talls, however, she will not be able to hold her. That is going to force Lady Hoo-Ha to call off the jam. We see 0 points scored up for Sacramento. Our referees are confirming to see if the Dairyland Dolls picked up any points on that scoring pass. And yes, indeed they did. 3 points up. So that'll make this a 7-point game, Piggy.
Continuing to be an exciting championship game as only 7 points separates these two teams. Mouse now set to jam for Mad Roland Dolls. The Forecloser for Sacramento.
Forecloser and Mouse going head-to-head quite a few times in this game. Mouse now pushing against that braced 4-wall. She has historically in this game not been having a lot of luck pushing through by herself in these Sacramento walls. Mad Roland Dolls seem to be picking up on that as they come back to help her out, and it is now a power jam for Mouse as the Forecloser goes off on a penalty.
Still effective defense being played by Sacramento. 2-wall on the front side, slowing down Mouse's progress. Now 1 blocker to beat. But that blocker is number 101213, Red Tornado. Mouse able to get through, picks up lead jammer for Mad Roland Dolls.
Suddenly the penalty box is absolutely overflowing with Sacramento skaters. We now have only, so for a moment there were 4 in the penalty box. Now 1 will, I believe, need to report. Yes, there she goes. So there will be 2 blockers in the box for Sacramento. Box empty for Mad Roland Dolls.
Mouse sneaking through on the inside, puts up 4. Mad Roland Dolls defensively working against the Forecloser. Sequin destroy her alongside Shenanigans. Forecloser, though, able to spin through and make her initial pass. Mouse forced out on the top side of turn 1. Makes the pass, calls it off, picks up 4.
9-point jam for Mad Roland Dolls, and that will be another lead change as they are now ahead by 2 points. Mad Roland Dolls 109, Sacramento Roller Derby 107. We are into the final quarter of this game. Oh boy, Piggy.
I'm not sure what else to say other than it has been everything we wanted it to be. Very competitive, very well played. And right now we have an official review, team timeout being called by Sacramento at the 14-minute, 10-second mark.
Okay, cool. That'll give us a moment to breathe.
Yes.
So, to go back to the penalties again, we see this beautiful screen of stats in front of us, and again, things are staying very clean and almost methodical for both of these teams. We see a even spread of 3s, 1s, 2s, and 0s on the side of Sacramento. They're having a total of 29 penalties for their team. On the side of Mad Roland Dolls, nobody with more than 2. Seeing a few 1s and 0s in there. A grand total of 16 penalties for them.
It's the discipline that both of these teams are showing. They're wanting to make sure that they lay out their game plans. I'm not seeing a big difference in terms of their approach here this second period from either team. They're continuing to go with what got them here. It's about disruption. Both teams have found ways to disrupt the other team's ability to form walls, the other team's ability to maybe stretch out the defense, whatever it is that they've been doing that got them here. Disruptions have been caused by the opposing team. As we continue, we once again want to say thank you for joining us on the stream. Mad Rolling Dolls in blue, Sacramento in white.
Somebody else that we would like to show some thanks to are EMTs and medics here at Clover Cup 2018, Samantha Van Slyke, Vanessa Gunn, and Courtney Gramley.
Back to the track we go. Ariella Twister for Sacramento, and it is Black Velvet getting out first for lead jam for Mad Rolling Dolls.
Ariella Twister up at the front of the pack. Dairyland Dolls wall having trouble forming as the Sacramento blockers are getting in there, but that doesn't matter to Black Velvet. It don't have to go through the pack, just go around it, leap that apex. Grand slam, Dairyland Dolls.
Ariella Twister able to complete her initial pass. Black Velvet looking for more and gets through, calling off the jam. 4 more points.
So great jam there for Mad Rolling Dolls, expanding their lead out to 11 points. 107 Sacramento, 118 Mad Rolling Dolls with 13 minutes and 10 seconds remaining to play.
Dark Horse taking the star for Mad Rolling Dolls. For Sacramento, it is Nail Her Swift.
Once again, these packs getting squished up together. Shenanigans going to force Naylor Swift to recycle to the back, but Naylor Swift blows through Shenanigans. That'll pick her up a back block penalty. Dark Horse is through to take lead jam on a power jam for the Dairyland Dolls.
First opportunity for Mad Rolling Dolls to really put the screws to Sacramento in terms of increasing this lead. We haven't seen much more than 11 to 12 point lead throughout the course of this bout. Dark Horse with an opportunity.
Mad Rolling Dolls starting to find their stride here in the second half. This is their third lead in a row. That'll be 4 points up for the Dairyland Dolls as Dark Horse gets through. Only 2 blockers on the track for Sacramento as we have 2 in the box, and their jammer just now returning to the track as Naylor Swift comes around turns 1 and 2 to engage the pack on turn 3.
Tipsy Bella doing a great job of shortening the space that Dark Horse had to return back to the track, but right into that 2-wall that is Narnar Jinx. Sacramento with 1 blocker left to try to defend against Dark Horse and doing a great job of it.
Got Dark Horse just twisting around with Narnar Jinx. They were just intertwined around turn 4. She will finally roll through. And to complete that scoring pass, whips around the track, through quickly on that next pass for 4 points.
Mad Rolling Dolls pushing their advantage now to 24 points in what is a difference-making jam here in this game.
Star has been passed over to the pivot for Sacramento Dolls. She's going to get that star on, but Dark Horse calls off the jam. 17-point jam. Big jam for the Mad Rolling Dolls, extending their lead to 28 points.
It's an issue of who blinked first, Rich Mahogany, and right now it looks like the Mad Rolling Dolls in a game of this type, this can be said as a commanding lead because now Sacramento has an opportunity to see, okay, what is it that they'll bring to bring this lead down to where it was.
We'll see what the forecloser can do here for Sacramento, jamming up against Lady Hoo-Ha for Dairyland Dolls. Pack tightening up between the jammer and pivot line. Sequin Destroyer out on a penalty. Lead jam designation goes to the forecloser. Lady Hoo-Ha out of the pack right on her heels.
Sacramento answers that last jam by picking up lead jammer. Now Mad Rolling Dolls trying to put a wall together, but they are short a blocker. 2 wall on the front side. And the jam is called.
Looking like 2 points up for Sacramento, chipping away at the Mad Rolling Dolls lead. Once again, taking a look at some of the penalties, we've got Con Artist over on Sacramento with 4. Nobody else higher than that. Over for the Dairyland Dolls, Sequin Destroy Her with 3. But again, we've got Sacramento with a grand total of 33 penalties. Mad Rollin' Dolls with 17. So Mad Rollin' Dolls just seeming to be able to keep control of those penalties a little bit better.
Yep. Aerial Twister now jamming for Sacramento, facing off against Mouse for Mad Rollin' Dolls. Once again, a Mad Rollin' Dolls blocker reports to the penalty box. That's Neon. Aerial Twister lead jammer.
Aerial Twister quickly getting around the track, goes down on one knee, does get back up in time. That's a grand slam up for Sacramento. In the meantime, Mouse off to the penalty box. So this will be a power jam for Aerial Twister on I believe it was a high block she went down on. Low block, my mistake. Is one of those blocks that's not good.
Sacramento looking to take advantage of this. Aerial Twister takes it to the air, but doesn't quite land it. She'll have to draw back to the top of turn 1. Shenanigans there to meet her and slow her down even further.
This is an absolutely perfect opportunity for Sacramento to stage a comeback here, starting to chip away at that lead. Mouse now returning to the track as Aerial Twister is through for another grand slam. Mouse now back on the track, runs up a hole on the inside, does get through, completing her initial pass. Aerial Twister going to engage the blockers of Mad Rollin' Dolls. Gets knocked to the outside by Sequin Destroyer. Is forced to call off the jam, but Mouse through for 3 points before it's called. Still a big jam for Sacramento. A grand total of 17 points to Mad Rollin' Dolls 3. However, now closing that score gap up by 13 points.
Yeah. It's, a moment ago I'm saying that in a game this tight, that type of lead that we saw right before this jam started was fairly sizable. Of course, Sacramento responds with a 17-point jam to close the gap. So not surprised at all because Sacramento has been doing this all weekend long.
Sacramento now sends up Pink Floyd to jam against Black Velvet for Mad Rollin' Dolls.
Mad Rollin' Dolls again settling into the defense that got him here. That strong wall braced that has served them so well. But now a penalty once again sends their pivot to the penalty box and shortens their blocking ability.
Black Velvet, though, that their team made a wide open lane on the inside, gets lead jam for the Dairyland Dolls. Pink Floyd also out of the pack, following in her wake.
Mad Rollin' Dolls in to break up that wall by Sacramento for a clean 4-point pass by Black Velvet.
Definitely a good jam for the Dairyland Dolls. That previous jam that we saw for Sacramento did see the point lead chip down from 29-point separation to 13. We are now at 17 points separating these teams. Sacramento at 126 to Mad Rollin' Dolls 143. 6 minutes and 40 seconds remaining to play.
The forecloser jamming for Sacramento. Dark Horse for Mad Rollin' Dolls.
Forecloser looking to force her way through the seam of the Dairyland Dolls tripod, trying to also rotate them out of position, but Tipsy Velvet holding that pivot or that brace position.
Front side of the pack, Dark Horse battling against Sacramento's defense in very much the same situation. Tipsy Velvet reports to the penalty box. Once again, Mad Rollin' Dolls trying to defend. Last one blocker.
Forecloser goes off to the penalty box. Power jam, Dark Horse and the Dairyland Dolls. Dark Horse up at the front of the pack. She's through for lead jam.
Talls now anchoring a 3-wall on the front side for Sacramento. Dark Horse in and hits hard.
Trying to push her way through that seam. Will go down on top of number 970. That's Narnar Jinx.
Sacramento wall regroups very quickly, but in is Tipsy Velvet to help out. Bridging now is Nar. 3-wall on the front side by Sacramento as Dark Horse continues to try to push through.
The Sacramento braced 3 walls are just being so effective against the single jammers for Mad Rollin' Dolls, doing a great job of holding them back without any assistance.
Forecloser just lowered that shoulder and took Shenanigans off her skates. to complete that initial pass in what has to be one of the hardest hits I've seen this weekend.
Wow, for all of that intensity in that jam, only 4 points scored by the Mad Rolling Dolls, and we have a team timeout being called for. I believe that timeout is being called for by Sacramento. Let's find out if I've lied to you.
Waiting for the signal, but right now what we will comment on is that it is 4 minutes 53 seconds. It is a timeout by Sacramento. Mad Rolling Dolls have maintained control since taking the lead a couple of jams ago.
That's right. So we have the forecloser, jammer for Sacramento. We're sitting with 4 penalties, all of which he has picked up in this second half. Taking a look at, we do have one blocker getting dangerously close to getting fouled out on the Sacramento side. Con Artist is at 6. So Mad Rolling Dolls starting to really peel away here. Pickett, do you feel like there's anything that they've started doing? Like what's changed in the last 5-10 minutes?
They're getting more consistent play from their jammers. The jammer point totals are spread out: 43 for Black Velvet, Dark Horse contributing 41, 36 Lady Hoo Ha, and Mouse with 27. When you look at the point production for the jammers of Sacramento, it is mostly Ariella Twister at 74 points, and then you jump down to 34 by Pink Floyd. So the production of the jammers for Mad Rolling Dolls is far more consistent, and it continues with Lady Hoo Ha picking up lead jammer.
That'll be the 3rd lead jam in a row for the Dairyland Dolls. Lady Hoo Ha flying around the track, gets through on the inside. That's going to be a grand slam, Dairyland Dolls. Naylor Swift at the back, fighting one-on-one with, that's Lip Smacker. Hoo Ha going through that inside apex on turn 2, just the same as ever, getting 5 points. Now Naylor Swift on her heels.
Sacramento defense getting spread out. Lady Hoo Ha calls off the jam, but still, Sacramento still picks up 2.
Getting confirmation from our officials that on that pass, Lady Hoo Ha did not pick up any points. That'll be a 10-point jam to 2. As you said, Sacramento at 128, Mad Rolling Dolls 157. 29 points separate these teams. And an official review is called for on the track by Sacramento.
Indeed.
So we'd like to remind you all to, if you're, I know that things are ticking away here, but if you have any burning last-minute thoughts, please take to social media. Use the hashtag Clover Cup 2018. Use that after the game to cheer on your team. You can also use the hashtag TalkToWFTDA. For now, we would like to thank our sponsor, Resurrection Skates. Resurrection Skates has the new Deadbolt Apex 2 knee pads for a special Clover Cup only discount price. We already went through that one, didn't we?
Well, I want to make sure, you mentioned earlier, for those on social media who are commenting, I have to say, I've got to read this one because it so perfectly sums up what we're experiencing. Moxie comments simply, "This game is bonkers."
That sums up everything, really. I feel like we can just, at the end of every jam, that was bonkers.
Yeah. So, Moxie, thank you for your comment. We're going to steal that and use it because that is indeed the case. Back to the track we go. Black Velvet jamming for Mad Rolling Dolls. Ariella Twister with the star for Sacramento.
So I do have the result of that official review. Sacramento was looking for a skating out of bounds on Sequin Destroy Her. However, the no call will stand. Sacramento loses their official review.
Kneeling whip in to try to help out her jammer, Ariella Twister, and that is effective. Lead jammer now goes to Sacramento.
Black Velvet still at the back of the pack, going to try to get around the outside. However, not going to work out for her as she runs into, I believe that is Annie Ankle-Biter. Ariella Twister around for grand slam. 5 points up, Sacramento.
Ariella Twister so quick to make her way back around the track, and just like that, spins through on the outside, picks up 5 more. Sacramento making a run here to try to close this gap.
Dairyland Dolls will lose Lip Smacker to the penalty box. So that is on a forearm penalty. Round and round and round she goes. Aerial twister. That is another grand slam. 15 points so far in this jam as she collides with the wall of Shenanigans, Kentucky Fried Carnage, and One Hit Wanda.
Aerial twister did get knocked out slightly to the infield, so she'll come back. But already 15 points has made this only a 14-point game.
Sacramento able to hold Black Velvet back for almost a minute and a half, only just now coming around to complete her, having finished her initial pass. The jam will be called after 5 more points go up on the board for Sacramento. Another huge jam for Sacramento, 20 whole points, closing down the score gap to just 9 points. Piggy, as you said again, Aerial Twister just doing an amazing job at jamming, getting all these points for Sacramento. After that jam now brings her score total up to 94.
We are down, as you said, Rich, to single digits. A team timeout has been called by Sacramento, and these are moments where I'm sort of left without words, because what we have seen is two teams executing game plans and not letting their opponent get too far out. It looked for a moment there, Rich, like Mad Roland Dolls was doing just that, but now 20 points in, high jam total for Aerial Twister, and we stand at a mere 9 points.
Sacramento is right back in this thing. It would be silly to discount either of these teams at any point in this contest. We now have the clock stopped at 1 minute and 52 seconds. We will see the forecloser up jamming for Sacramento, going up against Dark Horse for the Mad Rollin' Dolls. Our team timeout ends.
To this point, the forecloser has put 23 points on the board for Sacramento Roller Derby. So we'll see if her power play can get her through and get more points onto the board as quickly as possible.
Both of these teams starting in a very similar position with 2 blockers in the box, 2 standing. Now only 2 remain in the box. Forecloser through to take lead. Jam for Sacramento.
Dark Horse was forced out, but she had made the pass and it completes her initial. So Forecloser is going to try to sneak a few points here and call it off quickly.
Only 2 blockers to beat. Fourth Forecloser. Tall's up there in the mix, breaking up that wall. They will knock her to the outside, allowing Dark Horse to get through for 4-point pass.
Forecloser content to let this thing play out. She's trying to force her way through to get some points and is calling it off.
Dark Horse will pick up 2 points before the jam is called.
6-4 advantage for Mad Rollin' Doll, sets it at 163 to 152, 11 points, and less than a minute on the clock.
As we enter in what may well be the final jam of this game, Mouse up to jam for the Dairyland Dolls, going up against Aerial Twister. Sacramento with no clock stoppages left. Mad Rollin' Dolls with 2 team timeouts and their official timeout. Review, I'm sorry.
It comes down to this. Aerial Twister has been so effective, and there's the pass lead jammer for Sacramento.
Mouse is out of the pack as well. It's going to be a jammer race. Mad Rollin' Dolls trying to take control of the pack at the front, but only 2 blockers. Aerial Twister knocked to the outside. But now the Dairyland Dolls defense has been torn asunder. She will get through. That is a 4-point pass for Aerial Twister.
Shenanigans had a key block, but Aerial Twister was able to avoid it just enough and is still scoring points as we have yet another pass.
And Piggy Fatness, we are now on the jam clock. Period clock has expired. Only 2 points between these teams. All Aerial has to do is get through and call the jam. Mouse knocked to the outside.
3-wall now by Mad Rollin' Dolls has slowed down Aerial Twister for the moment. Mouse is able to push through for 3 points. Aerial Twister makes that pass, and it is 4. Still down 1. This jam will continue. Mouse now stuck behind the 3-wall by Sacramento. Here comes Aerial Twister.
Aerial Twister absorbs a hit from Neon. Will just get around. That is a grand slam. Sacramento takes the lead. Mouse trying to come around to the outside.
Ariella Twister looking for more just to be sure. That seems to be the strategy right now.
Huge pileup on turn 3. We have 10 seconds remaining. Piggy, I'm not sure my heart can take
I
this.
don't know. This is going to keep going.
Oh, my God, this is bonkers.
Indeed, Ariella Twister at a bit of a pause as the clock runs out.
That brings us to the end. Unofficial score, 169 Dairyland Dolls. Sacramento looking to be ahead with 175. We're going to need to wait for confirmation from our officials.
But what we are sure of is a 23-point jam by Ariella Twister that takes her entire point total for this game to 117. We do have an official review, so we will wait to see how this plays out. Rich Mahogany, we couldn't ask for a better game.
This has been the most I thought that the game yesterday between Dallas and the Dairyland Dolls was intense. This is on a whole new level. This is not just a nail biter. This is a finger biter.
Yeah.
I have gnawed the tips of my fingers off.
I mean, it's amazing. If I could, on a very, very personal level, this is my final Clover Cup, and this game is such a gem to call. We wait for the official review results, and Ariella Twister, we talked earlier about how her point total was the highest. We're going to get a word here on what the official review is for.
So they are challenging the white, or the lack of a cut call on white 606 Ariella Twister. So if that cut call is assessed, points will likely be removed from Sacramento. The no call will stand. I don't want to say anything because I don't see the final score line, but yes, unofficial final. Is it official? Oh, God, it is official. Sacramento taking the win over Mad Rollin' Dolls, 175 to 169. Taking it back in that last jam. Ariella Twister taking a 23-point jam, 117 points total in this game.
Everything was in the full control of Mad Rollin' Dolls. No doubt that they laid it all out. Everything was working. They finally were able to hit their rhythm with those walls that we talked about that were so crucial in their initial games. But Sacramento continued to hang close, and they continued to stay in this. That second to last jam that featured Forecloser, you almost had this feeling that, could this be it? But Forecloser got her job done, got that jam to an end, and the rest is history. Ariella Twister with a 23-point jam that just changed this entire game.
Wow, that was just I have no more words aside from, oh my God, that game was bonkers.
Indeed. Well, Rich, here we are. We've come to the end of this particular game. I don't think enough can be said about these two teams and the work that they've done here this weekend. Congratulations to Sacramento Roller Derby.
It's like an absolutely fantastic run for both of these teams, but Sacramento's Capital Mars Stars will be our Clover Cup 2018 champions. And so well deserved. They've played amazingly all weekend long, just as and as well as the Mad Rollin' Dolls. Both teams putting up such a showing. It has been an absolute pleasure to watch all of their games.
Indeed. I don't think there's anything more to be said other than thank you for joining us online here at WFTDA.tv. And we will be moving to an interview in just a moment with our friend Adam Baum. Until then, Rich Mahogany, it has been a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Piggity Fatness. It has been great. I will see you on the road.
Indeed.
Hi, everybody on WFTDA.TV. My name is Adam Baum. I am here with Sacramento Roller Derbies. Conquistadorable, and what was that one more time? Crystal, they have just won Clover Cup 2018 in a squeaker of a game, a 23-point final jam. What were you thinking in the last moments there?
I was amazed that we pulled that together. It was such a beautiful thing to watch. I'm so proud of our whole entire team and our jammers especially that just kept fighting.
And what were y'all really thinking coming into the second half? There was a 1-point differential, ladies, gentlemen, and otherwise, coming into the second half. What were y'all thinking?
We were just telling our team to have fun. Like, this is awesome that we just merged two teams and we just represented Sacramento the way we should represent them, and I'm just proud of them.
Well,
whether it was first or second.
Well, congratulations on your win. Thank you for being here. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here. Clover Cup 2018, Sacramento taking down the Dairyland Dolls for the win here at Clover Cup. Y'all have a wonderful evening.
Microphones, because remember we're live streaming to WFTDA.TV. We're going to start off with the individual awards. First, B Team MVP blocker. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Huckleberry Gin. One of the tough parts about an Edit Tournament Awards party is that people leave. B Team MVP Jammer, Hot Mess Express. From Houston. MVP blocker for A Team from Calgary, Ruthless Red. Canada's really far away, so there's a good chance they're already on an airplane. MVP Jammer, A-Team, Black Velvet. Photographers. That's not going to work. Oh. And an announcement that will probably come as no surprise to anybody who's been in this building for 3 days. Your tournament MVP, the forecloser. Yep. Hey, look, everybody, it's Rootless Red from Canada, by the way. All the way from Calgary, Alberta. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the first place trophy for the 2018 Clover Cup Sacramento Roller Derby. I want to thank everybody that's come help make 2018 Clover Cup the greatest experience in Clover Cup history. All of the volunteers, skating and non-skating officials, all the teams who did all of the work. I want to thank Ginger Turtle, who has been the most important person in this building for the entire weekend. And I want to give a special shout out to my announcing crew, especially Piggy Fatness, who has called his last Clover Cup ever. If you don't know Piggy Fatness, take 5 minutes of your day and go say hi to that man. He really, really likes hugs. He's a humongous hug fan. So walk on over to Piggy and give him a hug and congratulate him on many, many years and many, many games of roller derby awesomeness. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Please be safe when you go home and mark your calendar for next Clover Cup in March of 2019. Thank you. Good night.